Welcome fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic 90s nerds to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, yep, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime to horror movie slashers, but plenty of stuff in between too. However, today it is yet another vintage horror book haul! You guys know those are my favorite types of videos, and I've been buying a lot lately. So I've got to do hauls eventually, right? And I know you guys like them too. So right after this short intro, I'm gonna move my book cart over, and we're going to once again go through my latest vintage horror paperback finds. I can't wait! See you right back here. Welcome back! It's time for the vintage horror finds! I can't wait. I know I always say that, but it's extra exciting because I've been finding a lot of good stuff lately, and it's just so awesome to share it with you guys. So thanks for being here and watching my channel, and always sharing in this great excitement with me, because it makes it so much better. Alright, so let's get right into it, okay? First one, we've got Soulstorm by Chet Williamson. Pretty creepy. He's like dissolving.
It's a storm. It's a soulstorm.
God, look at his teeth. Look at those teeth. That's really weird.
An enchanting evocation of evil. Beware the whirlwind horror of the soulstorm.
Or maybe, like, instead of just wind blowing, it's like your soul. Like, blowing out of you. I don't know. Sounds very strange. And it was published by Tor. And let's take a look. Also very jazzed about this one. Here we have Saurian by William Scholl, and this was published in 1988. I am very, very hyped to eventually read this one. So I'm definitely going to dig into this one for sure. And it seems perfect for summertime because it's like a monster type of novel, and obviously we could see here it looks like a sea-type creature. So let's take a look at the monster here. Sharp as hell teeth. I don't know, I like this a lot. It's going to be awesome. It was published by Leisure, by the way.
It rose from the depths of time, larger than life, stronger than death.
Larger than life. Sorry, Backstreet Boys and horror. It doesn't really mix, but it does because they had a video that they were all like monsters in a haunted house. I was more of an NSYNC person. If you guys watched my book haul a couple of videos ago where I spoofed all these NSYNC songs, you would know that I'm an NSYNC person, but I kind of like Backstreet Boys, and I like to reminisce about them too from back in the day, because I did like them a little. I just, you know, had my loyalties towards NSYNC. So there's some 90s content, because this is supposed to be a 90s and horror channel, although lately it's way more horror heavy, and I know that, guys, but you know, we're approaching Halloween time. I can feel the hype in the air. I can feel the excitement. I could just feel it. It's like pulsating. So I feel like it's appropriate to do a lot of horror content lately, and so I'm like not worrying too much about the 90s, but I throw in some references here and there. And there you go, Backstreet, NSYNC, super 90s. Especially if you were a kid in the 90s or even a preteen, you heard about those bands all the time. You probably heard them on the radio as well.
He saw something black, much blacker than the ocean, pull up and separate from the water. Tommy was transfixed as it stretched to its full height. He gasped. It had to be a dream, a nightmare. The black thing was coming closer, closer to shore. He could see that it walked on 4 legs, had a long neck and a tail, and a massive head. A dinosaur! It was coming out of the water. It was huge, huge. But it was not a dinosaur. Oh my God! Tommy saw its face. God, no! Its face! He was too petrified to scream.
Yes. Oh yes! Here we have Burning, published by Jove in 1978. This cover is fantastic. And I've actually seen some articles that Will Erickson wrote about this book. He also really likes the cover, and I believe he also likes the actual story itself as well. We can see this house fire going on. Look at her, like, green mouth or something. Petrified. And she looks very ghouly, very just menacing and scary. But I think they're burning, so I think they're actually in anguish, not like the the people causing the anguish, so I don't know, because I haven't read it, but the cover is awesome, and I would like to get to it one day. And actually, it takes place in summer, is the funny thing, in August, and it is August now by the time I release this, so that's kind of cool. It takes place in August, at least on the first page from what I see. And this was written by Jane Chambers. One more look. Look at this really nice typography that kind of bends along with the artwork. This one's a little odd. It doesn't scream horror to me, but I saw 2 words that made me pick it up. It says, a novel of exorcism and possession. Exorcism, possession, check. I'm gonna buy it. I really like stuff to do with exorcisms and possessions, and that type of horror is some of my favorite type of horror. Like The Exorcist is one of my favorite movies of all time, especially one of my favorite horror movies, but I also really love the novel. I actually think the novel, The Exorcist, is better than the movie, which is really hard to do, to be better than that flippin' movie. It's very difficult. But of course, usually books are better. But yeah, the book is no letdown in this case. It is more in depth. It is just as scary, if not more so scary, because you got a lot of extra detail that kind of freaks you out. So yeah, anything to do with exorcism, possession, I'm there. I'm ready. Yeah. Count me in. So this is Save Joanna. Basically just kind of a warped face here on the cover. Very kind of stretched and elongated. So, might be good, might not be good. I really don't know, but again, I'm willing to take a chance on this one day just because of the subject matter, and this was published in 1982, this specific edition. Here we have another novel published by Berkley. This one was published in 1983. This is The Shroud. I can't really tell if this is like a wrapped up face that is unraveling here, that you could just see the eye. I think that's what it is, and I love, love, love covers that have gauze or wrapped up, gauzed up faces, so I'm there for that as well. Just like with Exorcism and Possession, wrapped up, messed up face, I'm there for that too. Next up, we have Prey by C. Terry Klein Jr. I like this one because of how detailed the eye is. And it's so detailed that it's actually quite disgusting. If you look very close, I'll zoom in a second. But yeah, this just creeps me out. I can't stand eyes. They bug me when I just look at them, think about them. I do put in contacts in my own eyes, and so I don't know how I'm able to do that. In fact, the first time I ever did it, I didn't think I would accomplish doing it. Especially when you have to take them out, you really have to touch your eye more than putting them in. So the first time I was actually able to take them out, I was like, wow, I did it. And I was very surprised because, yeah, eyes just blah, 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 creep me out, freak me out, bug me out. They're really just quite off-putting to me. Especially a detailed one like this, where you could see the flippin' tear duct. Just so you guys can see. Here's the tear duct. Look at all these lines and hairs and blah, 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 blah. Gross. But we see 2 kids here. They don't look that scared, though. They're just like, oh. If I was them, I'd be a little more frightened to be reflected in some guy's creepy-ass eye. And this edition was published by Signet in 1986. This is a very rough spine, as you can see. Super rough. That's okay. I'm happy to have this. And I think the cover is in decent shape, so I love this really bright red of the title. Very, very eye-catching. It stands out quite a bit. Moving right along, this is one of my favorite ones in the whole flippin' haul. This is Death Song by Drake Douglas and Stephen Kent, and I had not actually seen this anywhere that I can recall. I might have in someone else's haul videos or bookshelf tours, but I don't know for sure. And when I saw this at the bookstore, I was like, holy hell, this is awesome. Look, the piano keys are all ripped up and messed up and like flying off. Then you've got this ghoulish hand just reaching out, and actually it's 2 hands reaching out of obviously the same creature. Very, very just fantastic, this cover. It literally blows me away, knocks my socks off, whatever you want to say. Any phrase that indicates that I freaking adore this, that's the phrase that I want to use, because I am over the moon about this one. There's something about a good set of hands that is just creepy, eerie, shadowy, and awesome. So yeah, I'm very excited about this one. And this one was published by Leisure in 1987. One last look. Come on. Come on. And let's just, like, take a look at what it says here.
Its melody was evil, its rhythm the most destructive force on earth. Geoffrey Longford was one of the greatest pianists of his time, a kindly, studious man whose passion was for his music and his beautiful gypsy wife. Then he bought the castle, and everything changed. He became a recluse, obsessed with the castle's violent, murderous past, a man driven by unknown demons. Unearthly music issued from Longford's cold stone room. Music no mortal was ever meant to hear, for he had discovered a source of evil power so great it would destroy those around him and sound his own death. Death Song.
Here's one that is quite subdued. It's simple, but I say this often, effective. And there's not much going on here, but there really doesn't have to be much going on for it to look flippin' badass. Here we just essentially have a white cover with flippin' skeleton eyes, nose, and mouth. It's just essentially a close-up of a skeleton face. But hey, it's awesome, it works, and it's creepy without having to do much at all. Love it. This is Skeletons by Al Sarantonio. And I don't know, something about this just speaks to me. I think it's amazing. And we've got some nice red font that really sticks out on the white cover. And again, we got the title in a very simple black typography type of font. But still, it doesn't matter if it's simple. It goes so well with the white. This was published in 1992, by the way. Another really rough spine. I always wind up with these books with rough spines that are all messed up and bent up and whatever. Creased, it's okay. It's still amazing, and the cover looks really nice. The cover's in great shape for the most part, so I was very happy about how this looks. And so yeah, I am so happy to have it. Lots of leisure books in this particular haul for some reason. That wasn't on purpose, it just happened. Even though I'm kind of mixing different purchase groups together, I didn't purposely put all these leisure titles in the same rack. It just happened. So this is kind of cool. This leisure title is from 1992. This is Twisted by Sue Hollister Barr. And I kind of like it because I haven't seen anything like this. It's like a twisted, it almost looks like a screw to me with a face. Like a screw is in like a nail type of screw. I don't know, but look at this flippin' face. Red, bloodshot eyes. Flippin' messed up teeth and waggly tongue.
I'm coming for you to drag you off to hell or to the toolbox.
Stupid, 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 whatever. It's all in good fun, guys. Just bear with me. This one's spine, though, is kind of nice, huh? It is pretty nice, I'd say, compared to some of the other ones I just showed you.
The sins of the father never die.
Here we have a very purple cover. Lots of purple hues here. This is The Bad Room, and it seems like a medical type of thriller book to me. And this was published by Avon, and it was written by Christopher Cook Gilmore. I like the front. Let me just show you, because it's hard to see from far away what it is. So we've got someone almost being like, I guess, electrocuted. And then we've got this creepy pair of hands holding a needle. I'm guessing he's gonna stick the patient with that needle. I actually like the back a little bit better. Let's take a look at the back. So again, it's the same creepy pair of hands with the needle, and I just think it's very menacing that they're just alone here on the back cover. And I like how the synopsis basically wraps around the hands and needle. I just think that's very, very visually appealing. I like it quite a bit.
There are some doors through which you should never pass. Not ever.
In one of my recent videos, I actually talked about the top 10 paperback vintage titles that I would really love to find in person at a bookstore. And not only did I give a top 10 list, I also gave some honorable mentions. And some of my honorable mentions included any book published by D.A. Fowler. I said I would love to find any of her books, but especially Book of the Damned in a used bookstore. I did find one of her books. It wasn't Book of the Damned, but I'm still excited about it. It's What's Wrong with Tamara. And I do want to give here a special shout out to Eric from Capricorn Literary. who actually just gave me an audiobook copy of What's Wrong with Valerie. So this is the sequel to What's Wrong with Valerie. So as soon as I'm done with the audiobook that Eric from Capricorn Literary gave me, and I'm going to review that on this channel eventually, then I can dig in to the sequel, What's Wrong with Tomorrow, because I found it in person. This was published by Pocket in 1992, and let's just take one more look. We've got a creepy doll. She looks kind of mad, actually. And we've got also a very creepy person's face behind the rocking chair with the doll on it.
An evil so deep in one so young.
Yet another leisure title. This one's a lot later, though. This one's from 2003, and so I wouldn't consider it vintage, but I literally had to pick it up because the guy on the cover is terrifying. He's super disturbing, very menacing, and I thought, what the hey, I have to have this dude in my library peeking out, laughing at me. And yep, this is called The Laughing Man. Hence the laughing guy here. And you can see the sticker residue there. I'm going to clean that off. I just haven't had a chance. This is by T.M. Wright. And like I said, published by Leisure. I just had to. I had to. You guys understand, right? Look at this. Here we have 2 books by Ruby Jean Jensen. Pretty hyped to find these at the bookstore, I will say. So these aren't like any of the very sought after Ruby Jean Jensen book covers. That's okay. I'm still happy to have found these. And I think maybe because they're a little bit later, they don't have any creepy dolls or really weirdo skeletons on the covers like a lot of her other books do. But this one was published in 1994. This one was published in 1995, so almost back-to-back years. They're both from Zebra, as you guys can see. One is called The Haunting, and one is called Night Thunder. And I've heard good things about each one in terms of they're decent books, so I might actually check them out, of course. And regardless, I know they're not like the knock your socks off, awesome, blow you away Ruby Jean Jensen covers that everyone tries to collect, like Annabelle, which I actually do have. I'm lucky to have that one at least, but I don't have any of her other books besides these 2, Annabelle and like maybe one other. But yeah, I will eventually get my hands on those one day. I just have a feeling. I'm going to keep hope alive. And until then, I am just pleased with these for sure. In one of my previous hauls, I actually showed you guys this book, The Survivor by James Herbert. I said it was pretty creepy, pretty cool, but I think I even said in that video that I've seen other editions that are a lot cooler than this one. Well, at the bookstore I went to in Mississippi a couple of weekends ago, I actually did find a cool edition, a different edition. So same book, different editions, and I like each, to be honest, but I gotta admit, I like this one a lot more. So let's take a look at this one. Just the font's better, this guy's face is scarier, and it's almost like his face is melting away and also like rippling away. I don't know, like look at those lines there. And his eyeball. His eye! Ugh!
I see you.
So yeah, eyes. You guys know how I feel about that, as I said earlier. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm very happy with this one. And then we could see the plane going down because it is about like a plane crash. Let's just show them side by side once again, and they're both published by Signet. And since I already have this one out that I showed you guys a couple of hauls ago, I want to show you a new book that reminds me of this cover, actually. So here is a book I just picked up called The Visitor. It's not really classified as horror, but I picked it up specifically for the cover because here's like a creepy doll's head under some ice, and it's just very off-putting. The doll isn't smiling. The doll isn't sweet and comforting like a girl's doll usually would be. Not all. A lot of dolls are creepy for some reason. Like, why wouldn't you think that a doll would have like a smile and like be very cool and you'd like them and like, yeah, come hang out with me in my room, little doll? No, not this doll. Get out of my room. That's what I would say if I saw this on my shelf or on my floor or on my bed. Heaven forbid. Blah. But yeah, here we have the doll under some ice. I don't know what this is all about, but seems like a lot of fun. Again, who knows if I ever will get to it, but for the shelf, it's going to be awesome. This is by Jer Cunningham, and just kind of to compare, the reason why it kind of reminds me, obviously they both are dolls' heads. They both have creepy, off-putting expressions on their faces that, I don't know, makes you want to throw these doll heads across the room. At least that's what I feel, personally. Here we have two kind of thriller type books. I didn't care. I think the covers are awesome. And one is technically classified as horror. The other one isn't, but to me, they both scream suspense, thriller, not really horror. But it doesn't matter. Look at these bloody knives. That to me just calls to me. So the first one here, we've got Miss Finny Kills Now and Then, which is a very strange title. This was published by Tor, and it's classified as, like, fiction. I'm sure there are elements of horror, though. Obviously, there's, like, a bloody knife and killings going on. So, yeah, this one, awesome. And this one was published by Pocket, and it is classified, technically, as horror.
Southern looks, Southern charm, Southern madness.
So it must be like this Southern guy stalking and killing people. That's just a guess. I haven't fully read the back, but it seems like a stalker type of book. And it was published in 1990, whereas this one was published back in 1982. Here we have a book by Mr. Batshit Crazy himself, William W. Johnstone. Very excited to be building up my William W. Johnstone collection. And this one just screams late 80s, early 90s with the color palette, with the attire of the two kids on the flippin' cover. I guess they're kids. I don't know. I guess one could be a young adult. I'm not really sure. And look at this creepy flippin' face in the clouds. And they're purple clouds, purplish pink. I'm really excited about this. In fact, I'd love to hear you guys' opinion. Please comment below. What Johnstone book do you think I should dig into next? It has to be a horror Johnstone book, and I already read Toy Cemetery. In fact, I did a whole reading vlog on that. If you want to see, I'll link it up here. I'll also link it down below in the YouTube depths of hell in the description. So yeah, tell me what other Johnstone book I should dig into, because I want something crazy. But I want something maybe, like, better to compare it to. And I know someone actually told me to read The Uninvited by him, which I'd love to, but I don't own a copy of that one. But if I could find it, yeah, I'd read it in a heartbeat for sure. That would be fun, and I would totally vlog it. But for now, I've got only a few, and I'm happy to add this one to the few I do have. This is Darkly the Thunder. And I think that's a very unique name. Again, we've got this nice blue, which is a good contrast to the pink. Nice little color balance there. I just like everything about this cover. It's amazing. And of course, it just screams that it was published by Zebra. And yeah, it is published by Zebra.
Sandy started making funny little noises in her throat. They all turned to look at her. She was on her knees by the fire, pointing into the air. The Ouija board had levitated off the ground about 5 feet and was hovering, trembling slightly. The planchette was balanced on the board. It settled slowly back to the ground and began vibrating, the planchette bouncing on the board but never slipping off.
"This is just too weird,"
Hillary said.
"and I don't like it."
Paul laughed at her and walked to the board, picked it up and moved closer to the fire. He knelt down and spelled out, "What is going on?" With Paul's fingers resting lightly on the planchette, the 3-cornered wooden device spelled out, "Death." Paul moved the planchette, spelling out, "Who's death?" "All of you," was the reply.
And this was published in 1990. Glorious, glorious, glorious. Just a few more. Here we have The Forsaken, and this was published by Diamond. Let's take a look here. This guy is falling down off of a very tall building with a creepy-ass gargoyle or some other winged stone creature. Or maybe the creature's alive, and that's what's making him fall. Obviously, he looks scared. That's him falling. By the way, that's my impersonation. Whatever. I'm pretty sure it'd be more scared sounding than that. And by the way, the creature's trying to hook him back in, like,
"Hey, you ain't escaping. I'm dragging you somewhere else, bitch. I'm dragging you to hell. You ain't falling. You're only falling into my dimension."
Anyway, it's stupid. I don't know what I'm saying or doing. Alright, this is by Stephen Ray Fulgham, and it was published in 1991. So I have a lot of 90s horror in this haul. I think some of the 90s covers, even though technically everyone says how covers went downhill in horror in the 90s, I think you could still find some gems, and I think this is a great example of that. The Forsaken, like I said, it's just awesome looking. From the colors to, because there's a lot of different colors here, especially like the sky. They could have just done something simple, but there's like a nice mix of everything. And I just like the typography in terms of color scheme. Then even the building has some blue and purple hues. I don't know, it's just really awesome. Very well done in my opinion.
From the private hell of a doomed soul, a demon voice whispers, "Follow their scent. He was born 30 years ago. Everyone expected him to die. Everyone prayed he would die. Their blood is for you. He'd live to taste his victim's fear. Their tender flesh, warm and sweet. Show them no mercy. Set your hook and ready your prey. Make it painful, and make them die slowly." The Forsaken.
Okay, and I teased that I had found something off of my top 10 dream vintage horror wish list, and this was the other title I found. I showed the cartoonist in my last haul before this haul, so that was one of the ones off of my list that I found in person. Literally the day after I made the list, I found it in person at a bookstore. And here is the other one off of my list, off of my top 10 list that I found. The Breeze Horror. I actually heard Leon from the Paperback Mania YouTube channel talk about this, which got me really intrigued. That's one of the reasons why I put it on my wish list to find in person, but the cover ain't bad either. I gotta say, the cover kind of draws me to it more than even the story premise or anything. Basically like an open window, and like the curtain is a face coming out to get you.
"I'm hungry for your soul."
Yeah, this seems fantastic. I cannot wait to read it, because this will be one I will definitely read. And although I like the cover, and that's one of the reasons I wanted it, and yes, I want to keep the cover and the book intact, it's got a messed up spine anyway, so in that case, it doesn't hurt to read it. So I don't feel so scared to read it, which I know that sounds ridiculous, but I get so scared about breaking the spines and everything. So this was published by Onyx, and it was published in 1987. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. It was off my list. All right, final two. Here we have The Orchard by Charles L. Grant. Very nice scenery here, really spooky atmosphere. Just a tree and some fog. We could see, I guess, like a church type of building in the background there. Very nice, just a nightscape, basically. Simple. But like I said earlier, simple works sometimes, and this is one of those cases. Really beautiful, lots of different colors here, a good contrast with the orange over black up here. Just, it works in every way. This was published by Tor. We only have had a few Tor titles in this whole haul, but this was a Tor title, and it was published in 1986. It's beautiful, really, honestly. Just very breathtaking in terms of the scene that is depicted on the cover. I really like this a lot. And you know, this makes sense because I've heard Charles L. Grant writes a lot of atmospheric horror, a lot of subtle horror, a lot of quiet horror. So this is a quiet cover, but it works for me. And it makes me happy to look at it. So yay! All right, dun 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 dun, drum roll, the final book. This one's freaking awesome, badass. It will make you guys drool, because it's awesome. It's that good. You'd be like drooling saying, I want that cover. Trust me, I didn't know I needed this till I saw it on the flippin' shelf. And randomly, this is actually like a UK cover, I think, because if you look on the back, it has like UK prices, no American dollar sign. So I'm thinking this is from the UK. This is Ice Orchards, and the reason it's so amazing is because there's a fucking severed head on the freaking cover. So I get so excited that I exclaimed, because I mean, I can't believe they put this on the cover. You wouldn't see this on a lot of American covers because it just, I don't know, it looks pretty gruesome to me that there's like just a severed head there. And I like how shiny and sparkly it is, and I like how the eye is still open even though the head is clearly off of the body and clearly the person's gone. But you've got that eye staring, just staring into your soul, making you wonder, what are you doing with your life? You need this cover. You need it. This was published by Star, and it is by Elena Yates Yulo. I think I'm saying that right.
She was young and beautiful. She had a genius IQ of 185. She recognized her attacker. Her blood began to freeze in her throat. As her head slid into the ice-cold water, she knew she never should have come to college.
I guess there's a killer at college. Everything about this cover works, and we also have some birds flying off in the background. That's kind of cool. There's some pen marks here. I think I already tried to get that off. Actually, there was like a big sticker residue circle that I actually already got off. It was right over here. So luckily, I was at least able to get that gone. And so I'm very happy because it looks a lot better than when I first picked it up, but I couldn't leave it behind. Even though it had that sticker residue, I was like, I cannot leave it there at the bookstore. I must save it and bring it to my house so I could look at it all day, every day, because it's that cool. It really is not only a cool cover in terms of, yeah, it's neat, but it's also cool as in, brr, makes you kind of cold because that's what all the sparkles are. Very cold, it seems like, when you picture this. Lots of blues. Blues kind of indicate very cool weather, in my opinion, coldness. So yeah, this one was kind of like the gem out of the whole haul, in my opinion. This one and, like I said, the Breeze Horror, which was on my top 10 list. So I'm really happy with quite a few of these, though, not just these two. I mean, this whole haul was very pleasing for me. I'm like, yes! So I'm very pumped up about the whole thing. Alright guys, and I know that was a long haul, and that's because I've got a lot of other videos planned in the coming month, and not a lot of them are haul videos, so it might be a little while before the next haul. So I figured why not do a longer haul and just give you guys some fun stuff to look at, because it might be a little bit before the next one. That's okay. Hopefully this one will quench and satisfy you. And like usual, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching my videos. As I say each and every video, I know your time is valuable. You choose to spend it with me, especially with these long haul videos and just long videos in general. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means so much. I am so grateful. And also, I would also be extra grateful if you decided to leave a like and leave a comment, because that helps with the analytics. Plus, if you leave a comment, I just like to talk back and forth with you guys. It's a lot of fun to hear about your opinions. Do you own any of these? Which cover did you like the best? Which are you hoping to find? Or just let me know any cool vintage horror finds that you happen to have found recently, because I love hearing stories about people finding some gems on their own, because that's always a lot of fun, and I always feel happy for whoever finds something cool. It's like a shared experience, so that's kind of neat. Again, guys, thank you. That's it for me. Till next time, keep on killing it. Thank you.